All right, what's up, everybody? This is Peter, the owner of Farmhouse Blends and Cigar Bands from the Cigar Builder Podcast. I have Hyman here from Grouchy Monkey Cigars. They have a renowned brand in the industry. They've been in the game for a couple years, and they've been working alongside us to be building their brand. Today, he's in his studio, and he's going to be showcasing that shortly. But we're going to be chatting about the origins of his brand and how he was able to bring things to life so quickly. Hyman, feel free to introduce yourself to any of the people who are watching at Cigar Builders and give them a little bit of a rundown about what you do in the space.
Greetings, folks. I'm Hyman Lizaga. I'm the owner and founder of Grouchy Monkey Cigars. And to be honest with you, this was all started on passion. I'm a pilot for a private family by trade, and I've been traveling around for years. I don't like to sit in the hotels like that. Obviously, you've been smoking cigars for 15 to 20 years. So I've been visiting cigar lounges, and the dream started with wanting to basically open a lounge. And somewhere along the way, I wound up with my own brand. And I still have a dream to eventually have Grouchy Monkey as lounges and a factory lounge, actually, in the future is the goal. But it was all started on passion for the leaf. That's basically what it's all about for me.
So you've done quite a bit of traveling. Like, you already have a standard job. Like, most people, I think, would be like, you're highly successful, you're already a pilot, which is like a pretty tough career path to get into. Like, how did you go about getting into the space? Like, what drove you into it? When did you start smoking cigars? I know this is a passion project, so like, how long have you been thinking about getting into this before it happened?
Well, I'm a little bit of a strange character. When I get something on my mind and I make a decision, and this really started with the monkey. And the monkey, people always ask me, how'd you come up with the monkey? And it's kind of, we have our weird little stories. My dog, who's a rescue, basically she looks mean, but she's not. But and her butt looks like a monkey, so we called her Monkey Butt, and then she became Grouchy Monkey.
Oh.
But I came up with this logo, and it's one of those things that I asked an artist what I wanted with the monkey and a Panama Hanna cigar, and the first shot was like exactly what I wanted, and that's where the brand started. And at that point, I decided I didn't want to just go. I wasn't looking to make money on cigars. That wasn't the reason I got into this. I wanted to make sure that I could have super premium brand, and that was important for me. The other thing was to try and find. Basically, it's kind of funny, but if I'm going to purchase 10,000 cigars made for me, I better love them, because if I don't sell them, I'm going to wind up smoking them all. So it was important to get blends correctly and what we were looking for to have as a product. But yeah, that's it. Started with that, and with the traveling, it became a good opportunity, but I didn't realize that later on from the marketing standpoint, that I have a lot of ability to market while I'm out there. But sometimes I just feel like sitting down at a cigar lounge and not working, so to speak.
No, for sure. I mean, because it is a passion project. So you have the logo. I don't think the people may exactly know, but the logo is right there behind you. It says Grouchy Monkey Cigar Company. It's a really cool logo. So I've actually never asked you this. Like, I know you said the monkey and everything. So are you all planning to do something with coffee as well? Because there's a coffee logo within your logo. They have a coffee cup.
Yeah, it is. And it basically started in the beginning. It was going to be cigar and coffee. But what happened is, once I started getting into business and the logistics of the business, I kind of backed off on the coffee a little bit, because I didn't want to lose focus on the cigars. Once you get in this business, if you're new, if you're looking to start your own brand, there's a lot of work involved in making this happen. I do actually have coffee that we will be releasing soon. And again,
wow.
It took trial and error. I had to try different blends and see, again, just like with a cigar, putting together a blend that I would want to bring to the market. So we will be doing coffee in the near future, but man, I am like shifting gears all the time on new cigar coming out, new lineup, new ways to market. So yeah. The coffee will happen, but we wanted to stay focused on making sure we didn't cut corners, and we're just not trying to move sticks. That's not what it's about. I really like every one of my customers. It holds a special place in my heart. Like, they order my Funky Monkey 4-pack, and like, I'm thrilled. You know what I mean? It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, I think that's something too that's really important because Nico and I have been discussing too. Like we do a lot of things on the business side, and I think a lot of people logistically don't understand what goes into creating a cigar, especially if you're trying to do any kind of custom blending. It can be a very long process. I almost like to compare it to building a car. I know it might seem kind of crazy, but sometimes these cigars can go through multiple different hands before it even gets close to being done. And that's before you even get into fulfillment and logistics. So when was the exact start date? Like how long have you been working on this project? Because I see you're now in a studio. Like last time we were talking, this wasn't all situated. So there's been a lot of forward progression with your brand. So what date did you start, I guess, working with us and you made the decision, okay, I'm going to do this. And how many years now are we into this? Is it about 2 years or so?
Almost a year and 3/4 per se.
Awesome.
But
Oh my God.
and I was very pleased to do business with you guys to start my business. I want to tell you that and this goes back to the guy or gal who's wanting to build a brand, a cigar brand, you're going to have lots of people willing to make cigars for you. And it's important you find what you're looking for. There's thousands of factories that can make your cigars for you and happy to do it. But you have to make sure that the integrity of what you want is going to remain is what you get. I was very pleased, and I did a lot of work, Peter, to find who I wanted to deal with. And it was more than just the cigars, but it's the people that you're dealing with, which is equally as important as the product that you're going to be releasing to the market. I can't say enough about your organization, from Nick, who's I've dealt with who's become a friend, and your brother. Everyone's been very wonderful to deal with. And as well, Nico built my website as well for me. So
yeah, that he did do that. So that's maybe we'll chat a little bit about that too, because I know he did build the website. How's everything been going with in terms of the retail side of things?
Good. If you're expecting to get in this business and be sending out thousands of cigars a month, you're probably not going to have realistic expectations then. It's a time-consuming process. I go through lulls where I'm really busy, and then over the last couple weeks, let's say, I kind of slowed down, and you get this gut feeling but then orders pop in. You know what I mean? And then I love it when I see a new customer as well. Oh, I don't know that name. You know what I mean? Because I monitor my Shopify system. And that's another new person who I like to say is join the troop.
Yeah,
A group of monkeys is called a troop. So I have the Grouchy Monkey troop.
for sure.
So it's always nice to see. Maybe a small order or whatever. It's a new customer. So that's a new person. But yeah, I'm looking to grow, but I think God has kind of leveled the playing field for me and making sure I don't get more than I can handle. So, but we're doing well. And again, with my drive, there's no quitting. You know what I mean? I have every bit of investment is 100% from my pocket. So
I think this is great. I think you've already the progress is pretty crazy. So we're talking about close to 2 years. Retail stores built online. Now you have what's going on behind you. I would love for you to talk a little bit about what's behind the scenes where you're sitting right now and what's the game plan with the location that you're at. And then I have this has sparked a couple more questions, but we will get to it. So what's going on behind you? You just showed me before. I think the customers or anyone who's in the community would love to see what you have behind the scenes where you're sitting right now.
So this is basically, I live in a nice building on the bay in North Miami, Florida. I live here with my fiance, Layla, who is my manager, and she's basically like my vice president. So what I did is I rented a small office in the building and started off with that. And then I basically just took a bigger space now and kept the old office for admin and storage. I purchased 1,000 cedar cigar boxes, actually more than that at this time. But I basically took a bigger space, and I grew up with a hammer in my hand. My father's a contractor. Most of my life before flying, I did renovations and remodeling. So what I did is I took this space and I made it a mini cigar lounge factory. In this way, to try and organize everything and have it easier for when I'm out of town for my fiance Layla to ship out orders, which she does. Just kind of streamline things and organize. And so I'm able to grow.
Nice, nice. And how are you going about basically getting customers? Because I think for a lot of people, that might be the most scary part of the whole process, because it's like there is this difficult road ahead when it comes to like making your own product. I think that's one part of the equation, which I think for you, since it's a passion project, that was probably a little bit more fun than I think someone who's really more so in it on the business side. So how have you specifically gone about acquiring different customers or even just marketing your brand? Because there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And I think that's like a really tricky thing for people.
Agreed. And for me, I'm mostly social media based, and I'm very aggressive on my social media campaign, always trying to improve it. I probably at some point, like, I've been approached about people wanting to be my social media manager. And I'm a little hesitant because part of my social media is my interaction personally with people, especially my customers. Marketing is going to be a very difficult thing. I invested in a custom tent and table display as well. We're looking to do events and such. We're going to do our first real one in February, a boutique cigar festival. It's coming up in Orlando. And we haven't done that yet. I've kind of approached some places to go and set up for a day or two on a weekend. And I haven't done that yet. Been busy between juggling a flying career and then putting 100%, 10% into this business. But it can be challenging. And everywhere I go, I have cards in my pocket. I have cigars. I'm always smoking cigars. It strikes up conversations with people. It's a 24/7 job, marketing.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting. So how often are you flying, while doing this?
Well, I fly usually 14 to 17 days a month, something to that effect. And that takes me away, obviously. So wherever I go, right away, cigar lounge near me. And lately I've been doing something a little different and doing cigar factory near me. And you would be very surprised that you'd be able to find where you least expect it, a small cigar factory. And you can try some amazing cigars that way. But I take advantage of lounges, and visit lounges. And again, you have to do it appropriately. They don't want me coming in marketing. So part of the future is trying to get into lounges. And that's something to scale needs to be done. Again, your margin is going to be cut big time. You know what I mean? So it's a tough deal. This is not an easy thing financially to get into and be able to grow appropriately. It has to be 100% passionate. If you're not extremely passionate about this, it might be the wrong idea. But if you are, you know what I mean? I got to tell you, this has been the most fun that I've had. Everything about this is me. The monkey, the design, you know what I mean? Everything's my creation, and that part of it, to those of you who have artistic abilities or are very artistic, it's a great thing because you can have a blast with it. You design your boxes, you design your bands. So it can be a tremendous amount of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I love making. Nico and I have started so many different types of companies. And for me, like being on the product side, because I'm more on development, it is such a fun product to help someone bring their product to life. It can get pretty complex, especially with creative visions and the art side of things. But it is every time taking each product and just starting with like a blank sheet of paper every single time and building on that piece of paper, going to the drawing board with every customer is something that I really enjoy. And I think it's kind of interesting too what you said with your social media, because for whatever reason, Nico and I still haven't been able to let off. So we still run our social media completely. We don't have a team. We don't have a team that runs our social. So all the posts that you see, mostly, like even last night, I was up until 2 a.m. responding to messages on social media. We haven't 100% let off the gas in terms of being like the forefront of our business, because I do think there's a lot of good interactions that happen there. And we have done some systemization of it where like we have a social media manager where we can schedule things out in advance, like 60 days, 30 days. So that way we're not uploading all day, every day to all platforms. And what happens is it goes to each platform. Like I upload once and it goes to all the platforms at one time. We've done things like that, but in terms of like sitting at the front end of the business, we still haven't been able to really pass off that torch.
Yeah, I'm wondering, how do they keep the personal aspect of the one-on-one communication with the person. You know what I mean? Don't they want to talk to me? If I ever become unavailable to my customers, then I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. It's really important to me that when people buy Grouchy Monkey cigars, they're having a relationship with me as well as just the monkey, so to speak.
Right. Interesting. I mean, I think that's really solid advice for someone who's trying to get into this. Like, if you're trying to do a retail brand, because essentially you're signing up for that. I mean, that is what you're signing up for. Where it's like I'm on the business side, so we do right. We make cigar bands, so like I'm dealing with business owners like yourself. This is the first time I'm the face of our business. I don't really come out. I sit right here. I have my screens and I'm working. So I think if like you're actually just getting into this, like you have to really position yourself in a place where you feel like you're the most comfortable. Because if you decide that like, okay, I want to make a retail brand, my last name's San Pedro Cigars, which we're not, Nico and I are not doing the legacy brand yet, then you are the legacy. So you better be ready to go to the lounges. You better be ready to go to the events. You better be ready to show face. You better be ready to be behind the Instagram, behind the phone line.
Right.
Because that is the brand. That's the doors. So I think that's really, really good advice.
Yeah, the social media can get overwhelming, honestly, because I mean, I don't want to not respond to someone, but on multiple Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I have to pick which ones, and I focus more on Facebook. I guess I'm an old man, so I'm not Insta savvy, so to speak, but I do the best I can with it. It's a lot of interaction.
I think that's really, I think between us as well, we're on Facebook and Instagram. And luckily we have a content scheduler that helps divvy it up for us, so we can do a lot more output. We are very high output in terms of our social media. I'm sure you see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's a cigar band right there. So.
Yeah. The nice thing is though with us, it's like we're just showing like our customers' projects. So it's like a little bit easier, I think, in a sense to social media market when it's like not just showcasing what our product is. So like we are able to just show the product, and it's like, okay, it kind of makes sense because we're cigar bands. But in terms of like retail brand, have you played with any ads at all? Or are you just sticking to like organic, just normal like social media posting and letting it all come organically?
Organic, really. I haven't done paid ads yet. I was thinking at some point, obviously, I would look at it. There's a lot of cigar influencers, and I deal with a few who love my cigars and post for me. And the best marketing to me is when my customers get their order and I ask them to. I throw in some extra cigars and swag stuff and ask them to post. And when I see their post and they love it, that's the reward. That's the best thing that can ever happen. So
I think that's like really good advice for a lot of people like who are trying to get out, because I think this is I mean we're just going kind of like back to the basics, but I mean that's what, if you can do that at a large level, then that's where it's like you can start getting your brand out there, and like the effect of it, like maybe not in the beginning when you don't have momentum, it kind of feels like it's slow, but then like over time, like it starts to add up quicker than you would think. So this is really good. This is awesome. So how was it for you in Florida? Because you're also in Miami, I'm in Orlando. How was setting up the licensure in the state of Florida for you? How did that process go?
It was good. I asked Nico how to do it, and he told me.
That's
basically,
fair.
you get a tobacco retailers, get a license with your county if you have a location and such. And now I filled out the paperwork for distribution so I can get into lounges. Right. And so that's another step. And again, I'm like, it's going to change numbers a lot. It's going to change numbers on the volume, but it's also going to change the profit margin goes way down because you're selling wholesale now. But to grow, I feel like it's worth it to me to sell at a wholesale. The more people, everybody that's gotten our cigars has loved them. So the more people that get my cigars in their hands, the better opportunity is for us to grow. So getting into lounges is going to be important. And then as a cigar builder, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to follow what other people are doing. You know what I mean? And you see other boutique brands popping up, and then you see some who are doing very well, and follow kind of what they're doing. What are they doing? And you'll notice they're getting into lounges. You know what I mean? So
it's interesting too, because we do work with a lot of boutique brands ourselves, and I will say, like, at least these first 4 podcasts, like everyone has been very successful. Like it's been unbelievable. Because for me, it's like it's kind of mind blowing to see the effects of what we do, because I am so focused on the project side, like project management and making sure everyone's getting the bands right. We're making the designs. I'm working with the design team. But just to see like how quickly some of these projects and like business plans are really starting to like come to fruition, it's honestly, it's unbelievable. And the crazy thing is, just a year and a half ago, I felt like it's not even that, we were building your site. That was like not long ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing to me that it seems like the guys who are really having the most success, even with just like sending out the SMS to like our internal customer base, like, hey, who wants to do a podcast? What I'm seeing from most of the people who are doing actually really well is the speed at which they move. It's fast. There is
I found a lot of I have a mentor, and he's a retired airline pilot, but he actually gives me amazing business advice too. He refers to a word as coopetition, and people are in this industry. I have not found like resistance. I thought maybe coming in with a monkey to a traditional high-class Latin American business, you know what I mean? Coming in with this monkey here, that I would be kind of shunned. I kind of questioned that at first, but the reality was they were like, I love it. You know what I mean? And it's basically, there's a lot of competition for me, but they're not. I've made friends with people who are starting their own brand now and referred them to people, who they can do business with. So actually made a lot of friends in the whole cigar community. It's a really good place to be.
Yeah, I agree. I like working in this space overall as well. And I'm kind of like you, because I have a physical therapy degree, and then this was an industry shift. I didn't start here. I didn't start in this business, and it honestly wasn't too long until it became my main project. I mean, Nico and I we work a lot for sure, but I especially as you can see with Cigar Builders, the community that we're both in, there are all types of people in there. And for lack of better terms, I would say we have competitors in there as well too. So it's like,
oh yeah,
the community is very well, like, it can be as good as you make it, right? I think it's like, it also depends on the person that is going out there and trying to collaborate with other people. So like if you're an open-minded person, the way I kind of look at it is like this: we're talking about a $55.5 billion industry. So
there's room for everybody.
There's so much room. Like, all you need is a sliver. So you don't need to go out there and try and tackle the whole industry. Like a small sliver is enough to have your brand completely come off of the ground and then be completely financially free. And that's it. I think that's completely in the realm of reality for everyone who's watching this. I really do think that's completely in the realm of reality.
So when I started, one of the things that was important to me is being authentic. And I don't come from a cigar family. I'm not a Fuente or a Padron or a Perdomo, you know what I mean? But there's room for me. And over time, again, back to my mentor, when I mentioned to him, oh my gosh, there's so much companies and they have so much equity and finances behind them. And he said, but nobody has the Grouchy Monkey Cigar Company but you. And it's true. And it's up to me to grow it. But again, I'm going to go back to passion. You've got to be super passionate about this. It has to be your drive.
Yeah, I definitely think without it, it's tough, right? Because it is logistically a bit of a tough product to get your hands on. It's a tough product to actually distribute or sell with all the licensing that has to get done. And then I also think it's a tough product to fulfill, because cigars can be pretty cranky. You've had to build this entire humidor that you showed me in your office there, and it's, if you're not keeping these in good condition, or even UPS, like if you don't even package it correctly, UPS will take it, throw the package. Now you've got damaged cigars, and then you're having fulfillment issues. So it's not an easy product to really handle, but it is a fun product. I do think this is a very fun industry, and I think there are a lot of good people in this space. I enjoy working in this industry and dealing with the customers more than any other industry I think I've worked in.
So, the physical therapy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. It's more laid back. I think it's a completely different situation where it's like, when people are coming into PT, like they're in a different headspace. Like it's more negative. This is more, everyone's like in this for more of a good time.
Right.
It's trying to compare like healthcare to like travel and leisure. I think people are always going to be happier with travel and leisure. Now, I mean, yeah, physical therapy, right? There is no other profession where like someone can come in, they can't even walk in the front door. Like they're coming in on a wheelchair, and in 12 weeks, I can teach them how to walk again. I mean, I think that in terms of like fulfillment internally, that's a pretty crazy, like that's a very fulfilling thing to like to do for someone. I will say that it's very hard to beat, but
Right. Well, you're helping people with their dreams, with their business.
yeah, correct.
So,
And
you know
that's,
what I mean?
I think if you look at it like that, that's where it's like, this is more of like a passion project where like I look at it in the sense of like we kind of help people win the American dream, right? Most people want to start a business. They don't know how to start a business. Like, and especially getting into entry level like cigar manufacturing, there aren't a lot of players out there who are doing small runs for people. So
Yeah.
like we're giving people a real chance to actually do this. So for me, it is fun. And like you said, we were able to help you with the website. We do a lot of that stuff, the licensing, and
You get so much more, so much more.
it helps people. And then now we see the situation where it's like, okay, you're scaling. This is crazy. Like it's just really cool to see. It's rewarding. It's rewarding to see someone else winning and making this happen. And at the end of the day, like that's what it's about. I think if you go into it with that mindset, you will actually find people who are gonna get on the same boat with you at the end of the day. Like there are other people. Now, not everyone's gonna be like that. There are some people that are just not good people. But majority of the space is. I really do think that. And when we go to the events, I don't know how many. Have you gone to a lot of events yourself or not too much yet?
No, very few. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing it.
It's nice. The event space is really nice. I mean, it's a great time. It's a really good community and all around. Like we went to PCA, and I think I may end up going to that show in Orlando. I think I know what show you're talking about. I may end up just going to hang out for the day.
Yeah, one day event. One day event. Yeah, Saturday event, something like that.
Okay, I might have to get the information on that after, but I think that's also a really good angle for people who have a retail brand to get into as well, because you're already doing it really well. I mean, you're everywhere. The thing with you is I feel like you have this opportunity to fly around, and that can help like offset some of the travel expenses for someone who's just starting out. It can be pretty tough.
Yeah. I think back to the event real quick is that I think I've had a little bit of a fear maybe of going and committing and doing it. But in actuality, I think it's going to turn out to be the best thing, because there's nothing better than going one-on-one with people and talking about your cigars, your brand. So I'm looking forward to that one in February. I kind of need to light a fire under my rear end and start to look for more events to do.
They're really nice. Yeah. I mean, we really enjoyed PCA. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Nico enjoyed it as well. I think we had both a really good experience, and unfortunately, it was only 3 days, but I was beat up for a whole week after. We had so much fun. So,
nonstop, huh?
Oh my God, it was nonstop. It was unbelievable. It was really unbelievable. And we will be probably attending the Charlotte Cigar Week as well. And we're going to start coming out of the cave. I know everyone always sees me sitting here at this computer, but we're planning on coming out of the cave ourselves this next year and the following year throughout probably start in the Florida area, which I think is a really good place to start a cigar brand, honestly. So,
well, it can be tough here, they said in Miami. When I have a guy I know, kind of friendly with, he owns a very busy lounge in Hallandale and Broward.
Oh,
and when
wow.
I told him I started a cigar brand, he goes, "Are you crazy, man?" He's like, he's like, and then once he sat down with me and smoked my cigar, he said it's very good. And once he kind of read how much passion I have about it, he kind of started giving me insight and things like that. But yeah, it can be challenging.
I can imagine in Miami, because like there's a lot of competition out there. Whereas like Orlando, there's not so much, like if you're actually a retail brand, but in Miami, it's like crazy. I mean, there's so many different, I literally think like 1 in 3 of our customers are from out there, maybe 1 in 4.
Oh, so you have a lot of boutique out of Florida as well, or?
Oh yeah, Florida for sure. Florida is probably most of our customers. Yeah, for sure. Right now, it's still very hot in Florida. I know there was a law recently passed. I think they're going to be eliminating the e-vapes. I don't know 100% what the status is on that. I saw that on the news somewhere. So that will also probably help cigar sales here in Florida if that actually gets passed. And I know they were trying to pass something like that. I don't know what happened in terms of like it actually getting pushed through, but I think if you're in Florida, there is a lot of room to actually sell. There is a big market out here for cigars. People like it.
Yeah.
And even in Orlando, the lounges on Friday and Saturday night here, they stay very packed.
Yeah.
They stay packed, man. Just like to the point where you can't even get a seat.
Yeah. You have a lot of good lounges in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
there's some nice lounges. It's not like Ybor, but they stay very busy. They really do. I mean, I think getting into the lounges out here could be a good idea because there is a big audience still here too. I mean, there's a lot of Latin Americans here just in Florida. I'm not saying that's everyone who smokes cigars, but I think a big part of the audience here in just Central Florida for sure. And in Miami, of course, there's a lot of Cubans out there. So, but everyone was really into it. So that's where it's like,
Yeah.
I think selecting the cigars, it can be a pretty challenging project. How did you go about like figuring out what kind of cigar you wanted to bring in terms of like flavor profiles and taste? Was it more like a passion thing, or did you go after what your customers want?
No, that goes back to that where I definitely needed something I was going to love. And I'm not a lover of super complex cigars. And I kind of, my go-to is Habano usually, but I like Connecticut's. And I can smoke Maduros if it's the right Maduro. I think a lot of Maduros on the market, people try to make them too strong. It's not about being strong. It's about a flavor profile with the wrapper and sweetness and a chocolatey flavor. I'm generally a Habano guy, but I was looking for cigars that could be, like I said, smoke all day long. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for me, I smoke like 4 to 5 a day, and I want to be able to light the same cigar 5 times per se, which I don't. You know what I mean? I mix up. I smoke other people's brands as well. Love to try boutique brands and see what other people are doing. But I wanted to make sure it was approachable. That's the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? It wasn't overwhelming. And I knew it wasn't going to be an anniversary Perdomo, or Padron rather, like in 1926. But I wanted the quality of smoke like the Padrones give you. And where from the start to finish, first third, second third, last third, you get a nice even burn. Draw was extremely important to me. I can't tell you how many cigar manufacturers I visited, okay, that 1 in every 4 cigars had a bad draw. Like I've tasted some great blends, you know what I mean? Fantastic blending. But then the 4th cigar doesn't draw right. And that to me is like, no matter what, I gotta have cigars that draw right. And if somebody gets one that doesn't, I'll replace it. You know what I mean? Because that's like a pet peeve of mine. You're spending this amount of money on something to smoke, and you have to fight it to try and smoke it. That's just no bueno. So
quality control for sure is a big thing. That definitely, I mean, it's your brand too. So like it's almost like that product centric approach. It's so ideal like to be focused on the product, because at the end of the day, that's a quick way to deteriorate your brand. If there's like quality control issues, I think that could be definitely tricky to salvage. Here's where I'm at. I mean, I think this is really good. I've been asking everyone this question, and I think it's important to kind of hear it from you all so that someone who's starting can kind of get an idea of what this time frame looks like long term. What is your 2-year goal, your 5-year goal? And then I'm assuming you seem to be locked into this 10-year goal on Grouchy Monkey Cigar Company. Like, where do you want to be in the industry? What is your vertical? Like, what are you looking to do overall?
well, for me, I'd like the 2-year goal to be reaching, should I say, sustainable, to where it's paying for itself and I'm not putting more of my money into it. One of the things is I'm blessed with a career that takes care of me financially. So I'm able to take everything that comes in and reinvest it into the business. It's what I do. At this point, I'm still putting money out of pocket. So for the new person thinking, well, I got 10 grand, you know what I mean? I can get started. You might be able to, but just realize it's going to require much more investment. You know what I mean? So 2 years to be sustainable. 5 years, I'd like to be doing $20,000 a month in sales plus. That's where I'd like to be at 5 years. 5-year on, I won't go to 10, but I'll just say at 5-year on, I eventually want to buy property in Florida somewhere else and get out of the hustle and bustle of Miami, like Palm City or Stewart or somewhere. And I want to have enough, like an acre or so, where I can build a separate building and have my own factory and lounge and everything centralized there. And have the 20 plus $1,000 a month in sales.
Nice.
You know,
so you want to go the full vertical with it. You're trying to go the whole way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a great lifestyle that I work very hard for. I want this to help me to maintain that lifestyle later on. I want to actually to be producing cigars in my factory one day.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
goal too. Yeah,
Well,
I'm
it will only be yours, or it's going to be like other people too. That way you can
yeah,
kind of do nice, man. That's really cool.
absolutely. And I'm doing the Tobacconist University certification too, which I
Oh,
highly
nice.
recommend.
Yeah, I know who they are. I've seen their stuff online.
It's great education. The history of
Awesome.
cigars is phenomenal. It's so
Awesome.
incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I haven't actually taken one of their courses, but I've come across their pages. It looks very good.
A lot of information. So,
I've kind of like chatted with them, I believe, on Instagram a little bit.
yeah, they do a lot.
Yeah. So that would be the full. Then I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll have your retail brand, you'll have another arm and an extension, and then you can do the full process for other people and then reignite the same spark. I think it's great. I love it.
I'm going to keep feeding it. So it's going to happen to what scale? I hope to my scale that I shoot for. But no matter what, it's going to be successful. Well, it is successful already. It's going to be super successful because I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep feeding it.
Yeah.
One day I won't be able to fly anymore due to age or medical or whatever. And want to be able to just smoothly move into full-time cigar business.
That's awesome.
So that's basically the overall goal for me.
No, I mean, this is all, it's all very realistic with watching how quickly the progress has even just been made in this amount of time. You're not far off it's really not far off from this point. You've already built your own brand. So to do it for another person, there's no difference. It's just doing what they want and guiding them through the process.
Yeah. I have no investors. Well, maybe at some point I might take an investor if I want to grow to a certain, but I don't want to lose control of everything to where it's been the most fun I've had in years. The whole process of building the cigar brand and growing it, why ruin it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nico and I don't want any investors either.
Yeah, you have a big operation. I visited your warehouse in Orlando, by the way. I've been there. Yeah.
Nice, man.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was very welcoming.
We're really lucky, man. Nico and I have spent, it's not, because you see cigar bands and Farmhouse Blends, but this isn't really where we started. We've run other companies and it's been about 10 years. So it's not like this came up overnight. It's been about 10 years of experience. Nico started his first business in high school. So I think, I'm curious to hear, would you recommend doing this like with another job? Like, do you think that's possible? Do you think that's a good idea? Like, I'm curious to hear what you think about that.
As far as, well, I'll just say this is what you and Nico are supposed to be doing. Because from the moment I made contact with you guys and I dealt with Nick, who was amazing, you guys did more than just provide me with cigars for my blends. You know what I mean? You did so much more. Would I recommend doing this as a career and leaving something else? If you love it, yes. You should do exactly what you love. I've been fortunate because I love aviation. And I've had the gift to be able to love that and to find a second thing that I'm passionate about and make a career out of it. It's a gift. So
yeah, I think that's really good advice too, because it's like to just drop everything, I think would be crazy if you already have something like sustainable. I do really believe that if you partner with the right people, and this is on both sides of the spectrum, right? This is on manufacturing side and on the retail side, depending on what aspect of the business you want to get into, or even if you want to start a lounge, it doesn't really matter. If you're able to plan properly and build the right team, I don't think you have to necessarily quit your job either. Obviously, if it's something you don't like, but if your job is giving you the safety net to pay the bills and you're doing well in your space, I honestly think it can be done. Now, are you going to be working a lot? I mean, look, you told me you're coming every time you're flying, you have your business cards and you're going into lounges. Yeah, you might be working overtime. I think that's what.
Oh, I'm definitely working overtime. I do my own. You guys did my bands for me. Make no mistake about it. I needed to cut costs and make sure I'm doing whatever I can do. So I got 5,000 bands, and guess who's sitting in front of the TV putting bands on their cigars?
Yeah, and it's daunting. It does take time. It's not easy to do that. But if you can cut costs and it can be utilized well for other things, I mean, I'm all for that. And we're all for that for our customers as well. We want to make sure everyone's in it to win it, right? That's why we don't really charge like mold fees or design fees, because it's just like it's going to kill people. And the idea is, especially if you want to have your cigars in a lounge location, you're going to be fighting for shelf space. You're going to be fighting against other companies, and you're going to be in negotiations with that lounge to ensure that you can actually land that space on the shelf. So that it gives you more wiggle room to actually create something that's a little bit more sustainable, so that you don't just get yourself 6 feet under before you've even launched the brand. And I think you did something too really smart when you started. You never got those wood boxes. You started with was it a paper?
No, I did. And again, here's some insight into, how you can get started. I did make an investment and I ordered Spanish cedar boxes. I have 1,000 of them. Then I realized there's a lot of people out there who don't want to commit to a 10 count box of cigars for that price to try it. So what I did is I came up with doing sample packs. I have a 7-pack sampler, and that was actually suggested by Nico, by the way. I went a step further, and I had like cardboard style boxes like you see in the cigar lounge with 5 packs, and I do a 3-pack sampler of my Jungle M. It's more cost efficient. Listen, people throw the boxes away, and I'm talking like $10 per box for cedar boxes in bulk, and that's only if you buy quantity. Otherwise, you're going to pay a much higher price than that. So I think it's a good opportunity, maybe someone not to make the investment in the beginning. Start with some very nice cardboard, well-made boxes with your logo and everything on it. You see all Ashton does it, and all the different cigar companies have 5 packs and 3 packs and stuff like that. Sometimes I think there might be a hesitation from customers the first time to make a commitment to 10 cigars. They're like, oh, a 3-pack, let me try that. If I like it, I can always buy a box.
That's what we do. Yeah, we do a 3-pack and a 10-pack for us, and it seemed to work well. It does. Yeah. It does work well. I think a lot of people in the industry do that as well. It's friendly. It's a little bit more friendly than the 10 or 25. But
yeah, that's another question people are going to face. Do you do 20 count box? I went with 10. I thought 20 was a stretch to try in the beginning. Eventually, I hope to be making 20 count boxes, but I went with a 10. If you do a little bit of research, pay attention when you're in lounges, most of the boutique companies go with a 10 count box. So
I think that's really good advice. I really do. Because I think a lot of people, I don't know why, for every reason, but when they want to start, it's like they come to us and it's like, I want to start 8 cigars right now with 8 different boxes. It's like, man, what are you? And they've never launched a cigar before.
Listen, it's a learning process, and there are so many things I didn't know, and I'm continuing to learn about the business. There's things I don't know how to market to lounges properly. You know what I mean? But what I made a commitment early on was you learn, and again, back to my mentor tells me, you learn as you go. You'll make mistakes, you'll correct it, and you'll learn from your mistake. But you can learn from other people. Do your research. If you're going to start a cigar brand, you should be you should become a tobacconist. You should get out there. Pay attention when you go into cigar lounges. You talked about those shelves. That's what I feared, is my little Grouchy Monkey box getting eaten up by all the Perdomo lineup covering 10 square feet of shelving. You know what I mean? But you don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? That's why the more I build it organically, online first, it's better when lounges come to me and say, hey, we would like to have your cigar on our shelves. Again, that's a hope, but I'm going to keep working towards that.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting space when it comes into lounge and shelving. But I think that's where if you at least start with one, then from there you can build upon it. And it's a lot easier to market one product than 10.
I agree. If people were wise, I'm going to go back to what you said about your service and providing. You basically get your recipe with your business. You guys do more than just sell cigars. You guys helped me so much more with licensing, with website, with the cigars, with banding. It's really important to do your research and find out, pay attention in the cigar lounges. Look at what other companies are doing. There's a reason they're doing it. Perdomo must have marketing people that know what to do, So again, you need to be education. Like I spent not only with my traveling, go to hotel rooms, I'm watching cigar documentaries. You can learn so much from what's on YouTube about the different companies. And you'll find it interesting that all these big cigar manufacturers, they all have a different story. They all do things differently. There's the basic foundation of how cigars are made, but the way each factory does it is a little different. It's fascinating.
Yeah, no, for me too, even just in the small conversations I've had over the past week for this alone, everyone's doing something different. There's so many different ways to do it. And I think it's almost a curse too, because I'm worried that people are going to be listening to all of these and seeing that there's so many different directions. But because even for me, like as the podcast host, like I'm doing something completely different than everyone else as well. But I think the best thing you should do is isolate what you want to do and almost like hit it with a bow and arrow and just stay on that path. Agreed. And go all in onto the inputs into that direct path that you plan on going. And then, yeah, if after 3 to 6 months something's not working, then you can course direct a little bit.
Right.
But what I don't recommend is like basically going a rocket launcher approach and trying to cover a bunch of space all at once, especially if you're a solo op. It's just.
Yeah, I may have been guilty of that because I have more products in hindsight. You know what I mean? I don't regret it because this has always been about fun for me, you know what I mean? And doing what I want to do and enjoying it. But if someone's going to talk about finances that you're putting into it, you know what I mean? You're 100% correct. Get one cigar, maybe Habano, Maduro, Connecticut. Run with that because now I'm always saying, do I have enough inventory on that? I should have much more, you know what I mean? And don't spread yourself too thin, in other words.
Yeah, I think and that's something I try and obviously if someone's going to go like, no, I want 8, then yeah. But I just think if you're just a new brand, then at least like if you start with one product, it's like easy to do everything. And then you can just copy and paste for the next product in a similar sense. Obviously, you might want to market it a little bit differently. The branding might be differently. You might have a different customer base depending on what you decide to go out with. But then that's where it's like you'll have to make those changes. But it doesn't feel like everything's happening all at once at the same time.
Agreed.
That's a really difficult spot to be in.
Yeah, well, if people are smart, they're going to listen to you guys, listen to people who've been on that road before. You know what I mean? It could be a lot.
Would you suggest like having a mentor? Is that something that you really
can't tell you how amazing and great it is to have a mentor? It has to be someone you trust your life with. The direction that my mentor gives me is phenomenal. We have a lot of commonality. He's a retired pilot. He flew in the Navy before the airlines. And I speak to him probably almost daily. I definitely by text daily, but a lot of times on the phone, just to hear each other's voice. And he directs me very well in business. And not only that, but when you're feeling like, oh, God, I'm not selling anything this week or whatever, he's there to tell me it's like popcorn. One's popping, 2, then 5, then eventually pop, 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 pop.
That's such a great analogy.
It's a really good thing to have a mentor. You should have a mentor, someone who directs you.
Yeah, it's always really hard in the beginning. It's really hard. I mean, I would say it's almost near impossible. So just keep that in mind. Like most businesses, you're doing really well. Like even from the hindsight of things, like if you're getting into businesses, like most fail. So like I think a lot of people don't know that coming in, but Nico and I are big business guys. As much as we love cigars, Nico, my brother, loves cigars much more than me. I love business. I love studying it. I love learning about it. I love hearing what other people are doing. For me, like that's what really the passion is. But most people, if they don't start right, most people are going to fail. And that's a scary thing about it. But I guess the coolest thing about business is you only have to be right once.
Yeah, the best, not analogy, but when I looked at this overall, I saw it as great opportunity because yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to take a long time. But I'm dealing with a product, all natural, no additives other than tobacco. Okay. It's not perishable. It's not like I'm in the produce business. They're in my humidor getting better every day. Yep. So in 10 years, still have my inventory basically. The cigars are getting better. The markup is good on them. It's not going to be what you think, because when you start calculating numbers to start your business, you're going to think, oh, the cigar cost me this, the band cost me this, and the box cost me this. You haven't added up all the other stuff and time and effort and everything else. So yes, but good profit on them if you can get the right price, and you have to be at the right price. That was probably the most difficult thing about the business, was deciding what was going to be the price point. And the question comes, why is somebody going to grab your cigar off the shelf rather for $18 rather than a Padron, or Perdomo? And it's important to price it right.
How much are you retailing your cigars for, if you don't mind? So maybe that can customer get a decent idea of where they maybe should begin.
So I have from anywhere from $6 to $18. I generally sell the cigars quite often. $12 is a good price point. $12 to $14. And I've heard that
across the board from everyone that I've spoken to. So I think that's right in a good range. You're in a healthy range. I mean, can you get away with more? Probably, but you'll have less sales. So that's where it's like, now you get into the supply and demand, right? So depending on where you're at in business, it might a little lower depending on your demand, or a little higher depending on, what you have in terms of like your supply as well. It can play a role in that. But I don't know if I have too much more. This was really awesome. This is amazing. This has been a really good podcast. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts. Maybe like, if someone's watching this and they're unsure what to do, like what would be your recommendation if you could start over today? Like tomorrow, we're pulling everything. That sign behind you is gone. Where you're sitting is gone. All your cigars are gone. And you're starting back over from day one. What would you recommend doing to someone who's just watching now?
If it's your dream, you have to do it. That's what I would say. If it's your dream, you have to do it. If I had listened to people, they would have told me not to become a pilot. And now I have over 20 years as an experienced pilot and captain on an airplane. I had to do the same thing with this. I love it. I needed to do it. If you love it, you need to do it. Just plan properly.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to close. I mean, life's too short, right? This is a passion project for you. I mean, brand's gonna definitely take off. I can feel it. The branding's amazing. If you all have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. If you've appreciated some of the advice that Hyman has given you guys, his website is grouchymonkeyscigars.com. Please go get a pack. Go show some love, get a pack from him so you can try it. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next video. We will go ahead and link his Instagram, his website, and everything directly in the bottom of this video so that you all can have access to it as well if you want to go check it out and see what someone who's having success in the space is actually doing. And from there, guys, leave a like, and thank you so much for watching.
Hey, thanks. And by the way, you can use Monkey, all capital, 15, all one word, for 15% off. Thank you, guys. I'm honored to be here.
Amazing.